Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, prices of petroleum products set to witness one of its biggest reductions at the pumps this year, down by as much as 8%. Also coming up this afternoon, the Bank of Ghana assures the Cedi's outlook remains favorable as it rejects arguments that the current good run is not sustainable.
The moment we are talking about reserves in excess of 10 billion.
As ending April or?
As ending April, and we even expect this number to hit, some 11 billion at the end of the second quarter. This is far in excess of.
Also coming up, Ghana's real gross domestic product grows by 4.2% in quarter one of 2025, according to Data Bank research. We'll fill you in. My name is Daryl Carl. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. All right, thanks for staying with us, everyone. Now, prices of petroleum products are set to witness one of its biggest reductions at the pumps for this year. This is based on a report that guides the pricing of most oil marketing firms in the country. George Afi has more.
Petrol should be reduced by at least 6% or even more than 8% per litre from this morning by most of the oil marketing companies. This should mean that a litre could be going for 13 Ghana cedis, 20 pesos. A litre of diesel could also be reduced by up to 6%. A kilogram of LPG is expected to be reduced by 5.3%, resulting in a kilogram going for 16 Ghana cedis, 30 pesos. The expected reductions, according to the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, have been influenced by the Cedi's record appreciation against the US dollar and declining prices of crude oil on the international market. If prices should go down at the pumps, then that could be the seventh time since February this year the prices have been reduced at the pumps. However, the unionized transport operators say this is still not enough to warrant a reduction in fares.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has assured that the Cedi's outlook remains favorable as it rejects arguments that the Cedi's good run is not sustainable. The bank is basing this on its strong buffers, which now puts its reserves at more than $10 billion. Dr. Mumini Zakari is first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana. He spoke on PM Express Business Edition.
You will see that we are even accumulating reserves much faster than what has been anticipated. And that is why the market really thinks that, this can be sustainable. And we actually are going to ensure that this is really sustained. It's because of what, where we are now. This time is different. If you look at the reserves we have now, these are not debt-creating reserves. These are organically accumulated reserves that are very high now. At the moment, we are talking about reserves in excess of 10 billion.
As ending April or?
As ending April, and we even expect this number to hit, some 11 billion at the end of the second quarter. This is far in excess of what is expected under the IMF program, and that is what is actually giving a lot of, confidence in the system, and then you see, the Cedi rallying. But let me also add, it's not just the reserves, factor. There are other reasons why the Cedi is having the current rally. You will recall a few weeks ago, we had the SLA with the visiting fund team.
Yes, the staff level agreement.
The staff level agreement, the SLA. So what that, really has meant to the whole world is that things are really changing in the right direction. Alongside this has been the disinflation process that has resumed. You see inflation, moving from about nearly 24% to now about 21.2%. This means that, really we are moving in the right direction. You also have the reserves, which we have already spoken about, really increasing quite a lot. You have the fiscal that is now being put on the part of consolidation. You will see that relative to the same period last year, in terms of even the borrowing, you would have seen quite, a strong slowdown in the PSBR, public sector borrowing requirements. All of these put together, alongside our strong sterilization, which is also moving, really quite strongly. We have sterilized about 3 times the amount that we did last year. So that means that we are managing the city liquidity, but at the same time ensuring that the forex requirements in the market are met.
Now, Ghana's real gross domestic product, GDP, grew by 4.2% in Q1 of 2025, according to Databank research. This is despite the typical fiscal lag reflected in moderate appropriations, restrained public spending, and subdued private sector activity. Here's more in this report.
And private sector lags. The report said it expects the services sector to expand by 6.2%, driven by strong gains in information and communication, as mobile money transactions surged by 64.7% year-on-year, reaching 649.2 billion Ghana cedis in the first 2 months. It pointed out that with improved crop and livestock supply and a lower 2024 base, agricultural growth is set to rise to 6.5%, supported by cocoa arrivals of 500,000 metric tons as of January 2025, near last year's annual target of 650,000 metric tons. The report added that it expects industrial growth to decelerate from 0.2% in Q4 2024 to 1.9%, dampened by construction cutbacks and lower oil revenues, with any uplift from gold output likely deferred to Q2 2025.
Now, Vice-Chancellor of the Methodist University Ghana, Professor Philip Ebo, says the long-standing salary structure is outdated and reform is critical. As public discontentment over salaries and benefits in Ghana's public sector grows, the Central University has stepped into the conversation, hosting a lecture that calls for a redefinition of the nation's compensation framework, Emoluments Commission. Here's more in this report.
As labor unrest and wage disparities continue to challenge the public sector, Central University has hosted a high-level public lecture to dissect the flaws and future of Ghana's compensation structure. Speaking at the lecture, Vice-Chancellor of the Methodist University Ghana, Professor Philip Ebo Bonza-Simpson, drawing on a study that began in 2015, made a case for a comprehensive and updated public pay system.
Very briefly, we are talking about public sector compensation. Note, I didn't say the compensation of the public service or the public services. Public sector. And that is a broad, embracive phrase, which, as we shall see soon, covers a lot of areas.
According to the professor, public sector compensations currently consumes nearly 70% of Ghana's tax revenue, a situation he believes is unsustainable.
The public sector currently employs approximately 800,000 people. Compensation allocated to it from tax revenue is about 70%. We notice significant labor issues and unrest, and there is public disaffection in connection with some of the Article 71 public office holders. Why is it important in May of 2025 to look at this issue again? For 2 main reasons. The very first reason is, as I've said before, the issues of yesteryear are still with us. The second reason is that not too long ago, in February of this year, the 20th of February, His Excellency the President mentioned something about an intention to set up an independent emoluments committee.
With rising discontent and mounting costs, Professor Bonzi Simpson's call highlights the urgent need to review Ghana's public sector pay system.
Now, an 11-member board of directors for the Ghana Cocoa Board has officially been inaugurated with a strong call to urgently reverse the fortunes of the ailing cocoa sector. The new board is chaired by Dr. Samuel Ofusu-Ampofo and includes key figures such as the Minister of Finance, Dr. Kasela Tuforsen, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Randy Abe, Alhaji Alhassan Kobna Ganza, Vincent Opong Asamoah, Deputy Minister of Trade, Samsi Ahi, Deputy Minister of Agriculture, John Dumelo, Alhaji Alhassan Bukari, and Nana Charles also, as well as Eric Texan. The inauguration was chaired by Energy Minister John Napo, who also expressed grave concern over the current state of Cocoa Board. Mr. Napo expressed confidence in the caliber of the newly constituted board, stating that he was convinced they possess the expertise and integrity to restore Cocoa Board's lost glory. Now, 60 farmers in the Ejisu municipality of the Ashanti region have been equipped with environmentally friendly mushroom production skills. The workshop, spearheaded by the Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, is part of the revenue diversification pathways in Africa through the bio-based and circular agriculture innovations project. The project seeks to increase productivity, income, and economic opportunities of farmers in arid and semi-arid regions of sub-Saharan Africa. Here's more in this report.
Mushroom production involves systematically cultivating fungi for various uses, including food and medicine. The two-day intensive training empowered farmers with the knowledge and skills to leverage technology for mushroom production, enhancing both their income and food consumption. Director of the CSIR-CRI, Professor Maxwell Dakwa-Sante, stated that the training focuses on sustainable development, integrating scientific and indigenous knowledge in production.
It is about sustainable production, and what that means is that we use both scientific and indigenous knowledge to produce sustainably, and then as much as possible we don't waste anything. So we call something the circular economy, where if you, for example, in the fish ponds that you saw there, the water is not wasted. It's used to grow crops. Okay, the waste materials at home is turned into compost, so that we minimize the use of chemicals and chemical fertilizers, so that we're able to produce sustainably, and then the environment will also not be affected. So specifically, today's training is about mushroom farming, and the farmers will be trained to become very competent in mushroom production, and then they can set up their own mushroom production facilities.
Principal investigator for the Agri project, engineer Dr. Shadrach Amponsa, says the mushroom production is a technological way to produce mushrooms using bio-based materials like waste.
So technologies that uses biological based systems where we have a closed loop, nothing is waste. That is what we are teaching these farmers, and that's what this project stands for. So what we are doing is the oyster shell mushroom that can easily be cultured once you get the right training. And the farmers have shown so much interest. I'm base. We all know the major ingredient for this oyster shell mushroom production is the sawdust. And the sawdust, we know, is mostly burnt in the environment, and then it creates a lot of nuisance, air pollution and all that, disturbing the environment. So one of the focus of the Agri project is that we will reduce waste and reuse waste and then recycle.
Dr. Natson Eira Mamengo, a senior research scientist, urged the youth to participate in the agriculture sector to boost their living standards.
What I want to say is that mushroom production itself is a very viable source of income. And as much as we are using our biomass that we would have thrown away as waste and converting them into money, one, we are making our farmers better off. So the youth, the old, but especially the youth who are interested in agriculture can turn to this because they can gain as much as, let's say, about 10 to 20,000 cedis a month from this mushroom production.
David Opogo's report for Joy News.
All right, you're watching The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we're talking entrepreneurship. Popular painter and sculptor B.A. Champon is in studio with us. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back. Close to 2 decades, B.A. Champon is proving a career in painting and sculpturing can be worthwhile. The painter and sculptor is weaving through the worlds of entrepreneurship and artistry to create a successful business. He's in studio with us today for our show business segment. Good afternoon to you. Good to have you in studio. So, I mean, take us back to when and how your journey began. And I'll be surprised because we've been showing a lot of your work on TV lately. But I mean, for the people who are hearing about you for the first time, how did painting and sculpting begin?
Yeah, I would say I started from my childhood. I started at the age of 10. But I've been doing solely art from my childhood up to this level. But actually, usually when I talk about it, I don't talk about my childhood aspect of it because it's like, I don't see that one as let's say, as a professional painter at that age. So usually I talk about from a certain age. If you won't mind, if I can chip in that one. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, what inspired you to take up art as a profession?
Yeah, you know, if my memory serves me right from at the age of 10, I saw people doing roadside art. So I was like, wow. I was so fascinated about how they used to go about it. Then we used to paint by using, oil paint on plywood. But now we are doing on canvas. So that motivated me to go into art. But I must say that I was born to do painting. Or I was born to be artist because I've loved it from day one till date.
Yeah, how do you describe your style of art?
Yeah, good. I am into painting and sculpture. So when we talk about painting, that is where we use the paint we do on canvas.
Like you're seeing?
Just as you see on the screen. And then I also use wood, and then also cement. So my style is like multiversatile. I do almost everything related to art, being painting on T-shirt, on canvas, plywood, sculpture. You see, so that's what I can say. Mine is unique.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it sometimes.
But what inspires your work?
Our beautiful culture. I keep saying it, but people don't value it now. Like, for example, the way the woman put the baby at the back. So beautiful.
Yeah.
And then look at the way we prepare the food we eat, the dance, the agwaja, the palogo, all these things. So usually when you look at my works, and then also, let me say this, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I love everything about art. So it's not like always my work is about Ghana. It cut across. So anything, maybe drumming and dancing, depot, as you all know. So all these things are runners. That is usually I put in as my painting. Just as what you are seeing, the title is Ukuma Pima Apembeba, the one you see on the screen.
What does it mean? For our
So
audience?
Ukuma Pima Apembeba is like, you know, the Ashantis, those days when they're going for war, they were so resilient, they were so strong. Even if you defeat thousands, they will bring more people, thousands will come and then fight you. So that is why we see a lot of people on the screen, which I'm still working on it. So that is it, the culture, our beautiful culture. So that's what I'm trying in my small way to preserve our beautiful culture we have here in Africa.
I mean, it's remarkable how you've been able to turn this into a big business. I mean, we've had numerous conversations about how people usually downplay art.
Very good.
As something you can do and survive on as a business. So how did you put it through?
It's true. Even today, people still look down upon we, the artists. But to be honest with you, I'm not trying to blow my own horn. It's very lucrative. It's very good business. So people, those watching me, parents, please, if your child wants to venture into art, just encourage the child to do it. Because as I sit here, I'm not that rich, but I cannot complain. Just as I said on the TV station I visited last time, I'm not that rich, but I'm not poor, and I can never complain. You see, I have everything every man can boast of.
Well, give us an idea. I mean, we are seeing some of your beautiful work, and so if people wanted to purchase art, I mean, an art piece, an artwork, I mean, what? Not saying specifically what the price is, but what's the range?
Yeah, you know I'm laughing. You know I'm laughing. You've been with me for some time.
So just to give people an idea, how much they can make if they are able to harness their talents
you
and
are
skills.
smart. You still want me to answer? But, you know, usually I don't want to put, the monetary aspect of it on air. You know, for people not to be scared away from approaching me. So usually
I mean, it's nothing new. I mean, we know some of the art pieces, I mean, globally that go for millions of dollars, if you like. And so,
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, because you've spoken and you've said, well, you could get a piece as little as, or as cheap as 50 cedis.
Yeah, that's the sculpture works, the small ones. You are smart, you still want me to talk
and
about
as high as...
Okay, if let's say you still push me, let me say the painting. Like this one you are seeing here. It's more or less like a full-size plywood. It's going for 700,000 Ghana cedis. That's old cedi is what? I don't even remember the old cedi.
Okay. Somebody says 7 billion.
No. I'm talking about, did I say 70,000 Ghana cedis? That's 700 million.
Wow.
Though we have some which is going for 10,000 cedis, 5,000 cedis, and then as low as maybe 2,000 cedis.
And you say...
But that is painting. But the sculpture works, which is the wood aspect of it, yes, you can see some of the wood in there. Those ones is not expensive. Some of them you can get 10, 20 cedis. That is very small, like an egg size. That one be about 20 cedis, a size of an egg, maybe 20, 30 cedis. But if you want something like maybe height, maybe to go a sculpture, wood, maybe 1,000 cedis, 1,005. The price
varies.
Well,
BA Champon has got galleries in the city, one at Atlantic Mall, that's at Atomic, and then West Hills Mall close to Kaswa.
Sure.
My last question to you,
Yeah.
I mean, why should people patronize artwork? 30 seconds. Why is it important? Why is that an important investment?
Okay, what I would say is that in a nice way of preserving our culture, as a buyer, you have to help in your small way by purchasing and keeping them to preserve our culture. And then also, it serves as, the history will not, so that we should maintain our history. And then also for beautification of your hall, offices, and then it's not only that, it's also serve as a therapy. Let's say you have a beautiful artworks in your hall or office. The more you think about the works, the more you forget about your sickness. And then it will help you, do away with stress a lot. And also to make your place unique and very beautiful. So though the price I mentioned, don't let the price scare you. Just come, we'll talk about it, and then you get one for yourself.
Be a Champong. Visit his gallery this weekend if you can at West Hills Mall, right here in Accra, close to Kaswa. Also, Atlantic Mall, Atomic Junction. That's the marketplace. Thank you for watching, everyone. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. We will be back next week. Don't go anywhere.